Support for NPR comes from TaskRabbit, your trusted partner for home projects. TaskRabbit connects you with skilled local taskers for furniture assembly, mounting, and repairs. You can browse profiles and book help today at TaskRabbit.com or on the TaskRabbit app.
You know, we've been talking open about sex and pleasure, but I don't want you to be thinking about disease, right? I want you to be thinking about this is about to be the best 3 minutes and 12 seconds of your life, right? That's what it's supposed to be about. But in order for it to be about that, you got to know what feels good for you.
It's a new year, so that means many of us are taking time to check in with ourselves and our health, from mental to dental. But I've been curious about how people are thinking about one particular kind of health: sexual health. My producer, Corey Antonio Rose, walked around downtown Oakland to ask how people are thinking about safer sex in the new year, from the things they do to keep themselves and others safe to whether or not they knew about PrEP, a daily pill taken to prevent HIV.
Safe sex means, for me, being cautious of who you lay with and abstaining.
It means for me to think 5 steps ahead before I get to sex.
Obviously using protection, and I want to say also having consent and making sure that you guys both know that that's what you guys are about to do.
For me, it's about being choosy with who my sex partners are, but definitely condoms. I don't want no kids.
And it also means, I want to be more protective about my own health as a woman in this day and age, because you never know what people are carrying around.
Getting tested before you have sex and being transparent about any and all test results that you have.
I'm going to ask anybody I'm dealing with, if me and them could go get tested together, because there's all type of ways to fake documents and stuff like that. So I'm really going to say, I'm on the safe side. Yeah.
You taking that Uber?
Yeah.
All right.
In the 80s and 90s, safer sex was all about caution. The things you had to do your part in ending the AIDS crisis. But in 2026, it's changing. It's more about competence, having the tools you need to feel confident in your own sexual health. So today, I'm joined by Dr. Leisha McKinley Beach,
founder and CEO of the Black Public Health Academy and one of the founding members of PrEP in Black America.
And Dr. Jasmine Abrams.
I'm a research scientist at the Yale School of Public Health.
To give us a new year booster on how to live our best sex lives. Hello. I'm Brittany Luce, and you're listening to It's Been a Minute from NPR, a show about what's going on in culture and why it doesn't happen by accident. Dr. Abrams, we're going to start with a study you conducted with the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and the Yale School of Public Health on how people, specifically Black women, think about sex and the decisions they make regarding safer sex. What did the people you spoke to say safer sex meant to them?
So this study was conducted just before 2020, and they told us that safer sex did include condoms, but it was much more than that. It was also getting tested. It was being aware of your partner's history, having conversations, communicating with your partner about sex. A few people mentioned constant consent. Other people talked about being in an environment where I know that I'm not going to be physically harmed. And folks also talked about feeling trust with a partner to be able to engage in sex with them and not feel threatened in a way.
It's interesting that there's a combination there of practical, cut and dry, sort of actionable things like using condoms and getting tested and knowing your partner's history and status. But also there's a lot of sort of these intangibles like trust and comfort that are factoring in as well. I wonder, how did the people that you spoke with, Dr. Abrams, how did they consider trust or think about trust when making decisions about their sexual health?
This is such a great question. We saw trust permeated decision-making, sexual health decision-making almost completely. So thinking about establishing trust with a partner, that is what helped people experience comfort in a sexual relationship. That comfort then help them to feel more comfortable with engaging in unprotected sex. And then the other portion of that was that sex was also more pleasurable for them. So they spoke about how feeling trust with a partner, feeling comfort and connection with them was more pleasurable. And often that was sort of the pathway to unprotected sex. People also talked about trust like a gatekeeper in some ways, like for partners in particular. So for the women who spoke about, if I had ever told my husband I wanted to use a condom, or if I'm in a relationship already and I mentioned bringing up condoms, or even with newer partners wanting to use condoms, wanting to talk about sexual history, that was seen as a violation of trust.
I've experienced that. I've heard that before. Yeah, you don't trust me?
Exactly. You don't trust me? You want to talk about my sexual history or know if I've been tested or see my results? I'm telling you that I don't have anything. You don't trust me?
Yeah. That's something that came up time and time again for my producer, Corey Antonio, among the people that they talked to out in the field.
How do those conversations about testing go?
They're usually uncomfortable, but they're also a pretty good litmus test on whether or not I should be with someone. If someone is uncomfortable about any of the conversations, it's an immediate red flag.
I need you to log into your My Chart. We're not going to do the screenshot or anything. I need you to share your screen. I need to see your name. I need to see the date. I need to see what you got tested for. And if you can't show me that, then we don't need to have sex at all.
So I have gotten a lot of friction about that. Like, oh, you think I'm not, clean, but I just stand my ground.
And then the other way it was spoken about was if there's a partner that was cheating, there's infidelity in the relationship, that's broken trust, right? And that's going to encourage me to engage in safer sex behavior.
Interesting.
If I'm going to continue to have sex with this person, now I want to definitely use a condom. Now I definitely want to make sure we've been tested if there's been infidelity.
What are some of the stereotypes or social stigmas out there, specifically surrounding men or even Black men, that might be coming up for them when they're hearing, oh, I want to get tested, or, oh, can you please show me your results? To speak plainly, a lot of them act like you just slapped them in the face and like you're working their nerves. What pain point is being hit? Or what assumptions about them are they worried that other people might be projecting onto them?
There's so many chords that are getting struck when a partner is asking about your sexual history, your testing, asking you to wear a condom. The trust chord is getting struck. The do you think I'm dirty chord is being struck. Do you think I'm gay chord is being struck. Do you think I'm irresponsible? I've already told you I don't have anything. You don't believe me. Wait, now are you cheating on me? And even in our study, we saw that this was one of the reasons a lot of women had anxiety around these conversations because of how they thought their Black male partners might respond to them bringing it up. But one of the things that has happened in the past few years that for me was like, oh my goodness, I wish it could be like this. COVID. When COVID happened, people spoke very openly. Have you been tested? When was your last test? What were your results? You might need to test again? Who did you get it from? Oh, well, maybe we need to do some social distancing. Like, it's cool. You can still come over, but you don't have to wear a mask.
But suddenly everybody was very attuned to kind of the rhythms of public health initiatives.
Yes.
And receptive to that knowledge and wanting to apply it immediately.
There was no icky stigma around you trying to protect yourself or your loved ones. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wish people could be like this with HIV. I wish it wasn't so much negative stigma around protecting yourself or the people that you care about.
Coming up,
I'm not even going to define it as safer. I'm going to define it as pleasurable.
Stay with us.
Support for this podcast and the following message come from Strawberry.me. Be honest. Are you happy with your job? Are you stuck in a job you've outgrown or never wanted in the first place? Are your reasons for staying really just excuses for not leaving? Let a career coach from Strawberry.me help you get unstuck. Discover the benefits of having a dedicated career coach in your corner and get 50% off your first coaching session at strawberry.me/NPR.
This message comes from Wise, the smart way to manage your money around the world. With Wise, you can send, spend, and receive money in over 40 currencies at the mid-market rate. Learn more at wise.com. T's and C's apply.
This message comes from Mint Mobile. If you're tired of spending hundreds on big wireless bills, bogus fees, and free perks, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/switch. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Okay, so when we talk about sexual health and STI prevention, there's a lot of focus on preventing the transmission of HIV. My producer, Corey Antonio, went out into the field and asked people about how much they knew about PrEP, a daily pill you take to prevent HIV. And the results were mixed.
Have you ever heard of PrEP?
Yes, from TikTok.
I don't take PrEP, but I have known PrEP to be something that prevents HIV.
I just know it's preventative measures for HIV, and that's pretty much all I know about it, honestly.
I have a little bit of an idea. When I worked at a clinic, we did ask some patients that, but they were all men.
But I automatically go, oh, it's for gay men to not get HIV. That's what I think when I see the commercials.
Who do you think PrEP is for?
Usually gay men, I would think, but also like anybody who wants to participate in safe sex.
Yes. Okay, because a lot of people don't know that women can take PrEP.
Oh, I didn't know that at all. Okay.
I'm here with Dr. Leisha McKinley Beach, founder and CEO of the Black Public Health Academy. Leisha, what are the cultural narratives out there about the kind of woman that takes PrEP, and how does that impact people's decisions to start taking it?
Sure. Part of what we see in terms of culture are some things that have been passed down that prevent women from feeling comfortable enough to even have conversations with their provider, such as sex is something we don't talk about, right? What happens in this house stays in this house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why you out here telling folk, that you had something that was itching or burning, and those kinds of things. And so they're less likely to say, I was interested in PrEP, which means I got to disclose that I'm sexually active. Baby, you have had 5 kids in the past decade. They know you are sexually active, right? But for me to have the courage to say, I am sexually active and I want to know what's available does go against how many of us older women are taught. And I preference that because, some younger women, like my daughter, that's not their narrative. We've been talking open about sex and pleasure, but I don't want you to be thinking about disease, right? I want you to be thinking about this is about to be the best 3 minutes and 12 seconds of your life, right? That's what it's supposed to be about. But in order for it to be about that, you got to know what feels good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And part of that toolkit may indeed be PrEP.
Yes. Leisha, you were touching on such an important point. The spectrum of women's sexual health has been narrowly framed by risk and disease. That's and right. I love that you were teaching your daughters that it's more expansive than that, baby. It can hold pleasure. It can hold dysfunction. It can hold all of these things. Your sexual health is more than whether or not you're getting pregnant or getting an STD.
Leisha, I wonder, in terms of making sure everyone who should be on PrEP at least knows about it and knows it's for them, how would you characterize the rollout of PrEP?
I would say in terms of women and in terms of Black communities, it was a failure. Some of the first imagery that I saw promoting PrEP was right back to what we have seen for the first couple decades of the epidemic. 2 white gay men, they about ready to live their best lives because PrEP is available for them. And I just thought, when are we going to get it right? And so when we look at who has benefit from PrEP, since its approval in 2012. So that puts us, about 13 years that PrEP has been available. I got that country math, y'all. I think that's right, 13 years. We know that for white men, about 91% of white men who could benefit from PrEP already have it.
Wow. So my producer, Corey Antonio, just pulled up some numbers from the CDC in 2022, and it says that estimates suggest 94% of eligible white people have been prescribed PrEP. Okay, so it sounds like that's what success looks like.
That's what success, you got that right. I'm not hating, let's learn from it, right? Let's learn from how they were able to get to nearly every white man that needed has it. And those are some strategies that we have to implement as well. I am not naive that the starting line is not the same. And that was one of the reasons for the continued advocacy with Gilead about there's got to be a campaign, right? When women are watching, and this is actually a true story. So Georgia still has an HIV hotline. And I had someone to contact me from the hotline saying that they were getting these calls from women all across Georgia, rural communities, metro Atlanta. They wanted to know one question, and that was, is PrEP for them? And so they didn't know what was happening. Like, why were, all these women calling? And so I said, oh, that's easy. They up at night, they watching Hulu. It was a commercial about one medication for PrEP that says this medication is not for those assigned female at birth, right? So, but if you don't know anything about PrEP, then you would believe that means that that's it. That's it.
I see. Like they wouldn't know that there are different versions of PrEP that women absolutely can take, like Truvada. Based off that one glance, they would think PrEP overall is literally not for them. Wow. I mean, I do like Housewives. My husband loves Housewives, so we watch a lot of Housewives. And on Peacock, we are consistently getting ads for PrEP, and even if they don't have that specific kind of language, right, saying this is not for you if you meet this biological characteristic or whatever, it's more so like even just the framing or the branding or
what you see.
It's what you see. It's very much speaking to people that are not us. Even though there is clearly a strategy for placing these ads, in the middle of these really popular programs, there's still not enough diversity of strategy, in my opinion, to reach as many people as probably need to be reached. To that point, there will be some people that hear this conversation about Black women and unequal access to PrEP and think, what that got to do with me? Like, I am a married white man who's been with this same woman for 42 years. Like, this conversation doesn't have, I don't see myself anywhere in this. They might think this is unimportant or that it doesn't apply to them. I wonder, how does Black women's unequal access to PrEP impact everyone, regardless of background?
That's a loaded question. Obviously, it triggers something in me because I think about it from the reverse, that for decades in this movement, Black women have been out here advocating and serving and protecting and all of the above in HIV for folks who don't look like them, who don't love like them, and so now we're at a moment where we're saying we need folks to do the same for us. We need folks to be standing up to advocate for sexual health services, not having to face medical stigma, because oftentimes I hear from women who have been successful at getting PrEP, they talk about all the hurdles that they had to face to be able to get it. I went to the doctor and the doctor said, oh, you don't need that. right? So I go see another doctor and the doctor says, oh, well, that's not something for somebody like you, right? That's for somebody who's promiscuous. And so I would say that for anybody listening to this and to say, like, this isn't my fight, this has nothing to do with me, it has everything to do with you. We all deserve to have access to the preventative services that's available to us, whether we are talking about PrEP for sexual health, whether we're talking about metformin for diabetes. Some of these preventative measures, we don't always have access, and we should not be in places where we have to become our own health advocate to get what everybody else has available to them.
That is a very important point that you just made. And to close this conversation very quickly, I'd love to hear from each of you. I personally believe that sex is an important part of life throughout, I think, an adult's entire lifespan. But as you mentioned, the kinds of structural supports and institutional supports to help people make health-promoting decisions about their sexual health are suffering to a certain degree right now. So bearing that in mind, new year, new us, what, from your perspective as professionals, defines safer sex in 2026?
I'm not even going to define it as safer. I'm going to define it as pleasurable. And that's what I'm going to center in 2026, and ensuring that anyone under the sound of my voice has a pathway to get to that pleasure. That pathway might be knowledge about PrEP and where they can access it. That pathway may be information about DoxyPEP, which is something we didn't talk a lot about, but a way of preventing bacterial sexually transmitted infections. So we talking about biomedical strategies that we can start checking off the list. Like, okay,
you told me something new just now. Okay.
Yeah. So we working on, all these other tools, but it's also a pathway of ensuring that you are worth it, right? That whatever is available, that you are worth having access to it, honey, because you are something extraordinary and divinely made. And as public health officials, it's our job to give you all the tools that you need to go on with your best sexy self.
So for 2026, I would have to agree. I would love for people to be pleasure-centered, pleasure-focused, not just physically, right? In mind, body, and spirit, if you're on that vibe. When we're thinking about mentally what it looks like, what it feels like to have pleasurable sexual experiences, for me and the people in my research, that looks like being able to have guilt-free sex, shame-free sex. That looks like being able to go into a situation and not be concerned for your safety or your well-being. And how do you do that? You do that through conversation and communication. You do that through regular screening for yourself. Your partner is also getting screened. You do that through being knowledgeable of things. So one thing I want to name is HIV is not the devil or a demon. It's a condition. We've seen people have decades-long relationships where they are what we call serodiscordant. They do not have the same HIV status. A person is HIV negative and a person is HIV positive. That is completely possible. So I don't want to frame this conversation like in the light that pleasure doesn't involve HIV. It absolutely can. The pleasure can hold both. So yeah, I'm excited about, people having better sex in 2026 and being more knowledgeable and aware.
Well, I'll tell you what, with the tips that you all have given, I think that our listeners are going to be well on their way. Oh my gosh, Dr. Abrams, Leisha, thank you both so much. I really, really enjoyed this conversation.
Likewise, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
That was Dr. Leisha McKinley Beach, founder and CEO of the Black Public Health Academy, and Dr. Jasmine Abrams, a research scientist at the Yale School of Public Health. So you all know I love hearing from you. And over the past few weeks, some of you have left the sweetest notes for me in the comments and reviews. One of y'all wrote, "This is my favorite podcast produced by NPR." Me too. Another wrote, "Thanks for enriching my life." You guys, I'm blushing. And if any of those comments resonate with you, I would love, love, love it if you rated and reviewed this show wherever you're listening. It helps other people find the show, and that means this community we're building will get even bigger. So join the team. Rate and review this show right now. And thank you. This episode of It's Been a Minute was produced by
Corey Antonio Rose.
This episode was edited by
Nina Pato.
Our supervising producer is
Barton Girdwood.
Our executive producer is
Verilyn Williams.
Our VP of programming is
Yolanda Sanguini.
All right, that's all for this episode of It's Been a Minute from NPR. I'm Brittany Luce. Talk soon.
This message comes from Babbel. Babbel's conversation-based language technique teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/NPR. Spelled BABBEL.com/NPR. Rules and restrictions may apply. This message comes from BetterHelp. Summer can feel like a sprint. It's easy to slip into survival mode, just trying to get through it. Therapy can help you slow down and actually be present for the moments that matter. Visit BetterHelp.com/NPR.
This message comes from Odoo. How many streaming subscriptions do you have? Is it the same for your business? Avoid it by having all of your business on one platform. Try Odoo for free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.